Okay, so disclaimer about this video. I have already recorded the end of the prologue as of now, but the audio commentary for this part basically got lost, so I'm gonna have to redo this using an earlier save file. That means that all of the experience and Seepeth that I gain in the part you see here will not match up with what I have in part 7, but hopefully it's not too confusing. Anyway, let's go. Welcome back to The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. Last time we completed the request for Mayor Klaus and successfully delivered that crystal that he wanted for the Queen's birthday, and this time we're actually going to be doing entirely side quest this part. Thought I might as well go over here and heal while I'm here. The main one we'll be dealing with in this part is medical necessities. That high difficulty there is not for show. But before that, if we head in here, we actually have two new quests, Lost Kitten and Elise Highway Monster. Elise Highway Monster we'll be dealing with on the way to medical necessities anyway. Lost Kitten, we can actually handle that right now, and it doesn't even require us to leave town. You don't actually need to see the posting on the bulletin board in order to accept this quest. All you need to do is talk to the NPC. The posting on the board is just there to show you the side quest has opened up, basically. Also, I really apologize for how quickly I scrolled the text in the earlier parts. I'll try and scroll the text a lot slower here. I basically like to record the first 5 or so parts of a series in advance before I start posting it, and because of that I'm not really able to take any suggestions or input from the comments. I'm really sorry. This game doesn't actually have any text speed settings. This is the slowest / fastest it gets, so I'm going to try and wait maybe about 3 or 4 seconds in between text boxes. I think that's probably a good compromise. Yeah, it's a bit easier to time the text boxes if you're reading the text, but I personally don't like to do that. I find that when people try and do voice acting for characters, it gets a little bit cringeworthy sometimes. It's not really my style. But anyway, on to this quest. This lady is kinda clueless. Yeah, let's just play along for now. Yes, we are Mr. and Mrs. Bracer. What seems to be the trouble? Okay then. I love that face. People generally refer to that as the Estelle Watt face, spelled W-A-T. You'll be seeing that a lot over the course of this game. Now, if you've seen this lady before, you probably will have seen that she was with a cat earlier in the game. She's not anymore. Yeah, animals do tend to have personality. I know the cat that I have certainly does. Oh, so you're just like that Rapidash fan club guy in the early Pokemon games. Yeah, that's one way to condense all of that. Bringing back cats is actually pretty difficult, take it from someone who actually owns a cat. And so our quest begins. Like I said, you can complete this one without having to leave town. The first spot to check is just slightly north of the clock tower. I think it's around here. Yeah, there we go. And here is her cat. And it's gone. Yeah, don't just run after cats like that, especially if they're not yours. They usually don't like that. Again, take it from someone who actually has a cat. Okay, the cat seems to have run off in this direction. Yeah, from here we need to just go towards the shops. The triggers for this side quest are a little tricky to find sometimes. But you'll probably hit on them by accident, just by making your way around the town. Well, if you do the personal farm quest right, you don't have to do any chasing at all, but anyway. So this time... yeah, that time was pretty simple. You just had to follow the direction the cat went. Again, don't startle it. So, inside the chapel we go. However, we have the cat cornered now. There's nowhere for you to run. Or not. Yeah, there's exactly one place in the chapel the cat could go. By the way, yeah, even the NPCs in here actually react to this side quest going on. It's pretty cool. Have you seen a cat? Okay, up the stairs. However, this leads into a balcony where there is really nowhere to run, unless the cat decides to jump off that railing. This reminds me of a science show that I once watched as a kid. This is kind of a weird tangent, but they mentioned on this show, and it always stuck with me, that it's apparently safer for a cat to fall off of like a 30-story building than a 7-story building. It's due to the way that they relax their muscles sort of mid-fall and get into this state where they basically bounce off the ground. And they don't have time to do that if it's a short fall. And so, not only is Joshua good with kids, he's also good with animals. Good thing he's here. And so, thankfully, it takes us straight back to the cat's owner. Yeah, she was actually close right at the beginning, and she only got further away because we chased her. So, we were actually just making things worse all along, pretty much, but at least things turned out well. Oh no, now you're reminding me of that lady from Tales of Exilia 2. Yeah, let's get out of here right now. I love Joshua's expression here. If, we have anything to say about it, we're not gonna see you again. But at least that quest's done. So if you talk to Claire now, local gossip says Mr. Rion's mother is out on the town. This is just kind of a funny NPC side story that's going on right now. If you talk to, Rinon... yeah. His mother is trying to be a matchmaker for him. So, anyway, we've completed that quest, but one thing that I want to do before I head out to Medical Necessities is it's finally time to take care of that monster chest over on the Milch Main Road. I wanted to put this one off until I at least had Aerial. So, it's right into this tree. I should probably save before doing this just in case. Okay, so time for cat bombardment. How fitting that we're doing this after the Lost Kitten quest. Yeah, this is a lot of flying felines. I think I'll actually aim an attack at one of them for now. So, I want them to move forward, I don't want them to charge up kitty kicks, because if the more of them move forward, the more of them get caught in aerial. But I like to aim aerial so that the lily mover is caught in the radius. Okay, I think if I aim it there, I should catch most of them. Okay, good, a lot of them are staying still. And thankfully, despite their name, lily movers don't move at all. Wow, you ran right into the area, and Estelle's gonna get it off on a critical turn too. Which is good because normally aerial doesn't one-shot the flying felines, it just leaves them with barely any health remaining. Yeah, that caught almost all of them. And that was a nice use of a critical turn. It's always so satisfying to see all these enemies just burst like that at once. So anyway, that thing is charging up for Kitty Kick, which hits pretty hard. I don't think it will quite KO Joshua at this point. It does like about 140 to 150 if I'm remembering correctly. But I think I can just straight up finish this thing unless I... No, I did not miss with Dual Strike, but you have a bit more defense than I would expect of normal flying felines. Let's just go for an airstrike. Please don't take out Joshua with this. It did pretty decent damage, but yeah, he still survived. And gone. Yeah, not much experience from that, but it's definitely a lot quicker and more efficient to deal with that fight when you have AoE attacks. Oh, we get 7 time Seepeth, and yes, we have exactly enough for blind. That's really what I wanted. Also, lots of other Seepeth too. And from the chest, we get a Topaz Talisman, but more importantly, you open the empty chest and stare inside. The chest stares back accusingly. So, about that Topaz Talisman, these are items that honestly I don't find myself using very much. This makes your physical attacks, oh, and defense too, so that would make you weak to wind and resist to earth, I guess? But yeah, it makes you deal earth-based damage and have resistances according to that element as well. So yeah, it's only really useful if you're fighting enemies that are weak to earth. But other than that, it does tend to gimp you due to the weakness and also the fact that it means your physical attacks will be worse against enemies that are resistant to earth. Right, now that I've healed, let's go ahead and make that quartz. Oh, hi there. There's someone we haven't actually seen before in this place. But we can't really do much with her yet. She has a portrait though, so obviously she's going to be important later. Speaking of which, with my psychic knowledge of future plot developments, I can go ahead and talk to this guy. And nothing else to say about him just yet, but he also has a portrait, bear that in mind. Seems you know about that too. Interesting. Yeah, that's Murano. She'll become semi-important later in the game, so I just wanted to talk to her now. Okay, back here before I got distracted by NPCs, which is kind of a common thing with this game. Let's make blind. Normally, I would actually want cast 1 and another action 1 before I'd get blind, but blind is useful for getting Hellgate early. I'm going to also need to farm 10 more time Seepeth so I can get either one of these two, because I'm going to need that to get Hellgate. The blind quartz, well, it's kind of exactly what it says on the tin. Makes your basic attacks have a 10% chance of blind. For now, I think I'll keep action 1 on Joshua. I'm just going to go ahead and switch information over to Estelle just so I can see detailed info on enemies for now. But I'll be switching back to aerial later because, yeah, time to talk about medical necessities. So for this we need a savory pinion, which you should already have at this point. They're dropped by any insect-based monsters, but the bear claw is trickier. That one's native to the Mistwald forest. If we look at our world map, we can see that that is south of the Bright family house. The Mistwald, we will be going there anyway for the purpose of the plot later on in this chapter, but for this quest, you have to go there early, and the enemies there, they're pretty tough for this early in the game. Should I say really tough. So, this is a pretty brutal side quest if you're not prepared for it. Also, if you put it off until now, you are actually forced to fight the Elite Highway monster on your way there. You will actually have to fight that monster for the sake of the plot later anyway, because we'll be coming this way, but at that point, things will be a little bit easier for reasons. But it's really not that bad. Now, there is a new enemy that can show up around this area. I think it mostly shows up, yeah, that thing right there. This here is a Mars Sparrow. It has this attack called Mars Star, which drops a meteor on your head that can inflict faints. Yes, the protagonists live close to an area that has meteor-dropping sparrows. Kinda weird. But anyway, just a single Mars Sparrow is not really that big of a threat, but multiple ones at once can be kind of tough, and as you can see there, kind of blink and you miss it, you'll see now, Mars Sparrows are some of the few refightable enemies in the prologue that drop Time Seepers, so I'm going to want to farm them later. So yeah, the Elite Highway monster, it's right there, and for this fight, I want to stay back. Actually, I might want to show something else off here. If you go to character position, we can switch it so that we're controlling Joshua on the field, which is kind of cool. Anyway, not entirely necessary, but let's go. I don't need aerial for this fight because we're only going to be facing a single target. This thing here is a Rhinocider. Thick armored hide gives it great defense. Basically, you want to use magic on this thing, not physical attacks, even on critical turns. Soul Blur to inflict fate can be very useful against it though. And let's just go for an airstrike. So I think it's still in range to attack us. Actually, it's not quite in range. Good job on us for standing back. And there's Fate. Okay, that makes things a lot easier. Because this thing actually hits incredibly hard. So yeah, Feint is useful as he's standing back. It doesn't have a lot of movement, so if you run around a bit, it generally won't be able to hit you all that much. But as you'll probably be seeing right now, after this airstrike, well, you won't be seeing it because it missed horribly, but it does a lot of damage. But it's also very, very slow, so you can easily get a lot of turns on it, yeah, compared to its turns. Come on, you can hit us at least once. Yeah, there we go, it does a ton of damage, so I would recommend using caution in this fight, even though it's not really the hardest of things. Let's move out. Yeah, it's not even worth that much experience. And so, exterminated monster on Elise Highway. I should mention right now, there is actually an achievement for exterminating all of the side quest monsters, but generally speaking, that's one of the easiest achievements in the game to get. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, this thing's description says it can summon meteorites.
We're good to go.
Okay. To 10 more Time Seepeth. Yeah, the enemies here do have a tendency to ambush you if you run too much, so be careful of that. Also, there's no chests on the Elise Highway, so we don't need to worry about searching every nook and cranny. This path over here leads to the Mistwald. Beware of monsters is no exaggeration. We're not going to go in there unless we're fully restored on HP and EP. Which, it turns out, the Garoon Gate down there, yeah, I believe that's how it's pronounced, the Garoon Gate, that will actually, give us a heal point. So, right down here, let's just swivel the map around so it matches the minimap more accurately. Here we are at Garoon Gate. This is the border between Roland and the capital of the Laberl Kingdom. Well, that's interesting. Just a little bit of backstory there. And yeah, you probably get a ton of people not wanting to assign themselves to war zones. Yeah, that's a bit lopsided. You might want to reassign some people over to Vert Bridge, because if the fight we had was any indication, they got beaten by a couple of kids. I like how the NPCs here actually recognize the Mayor of Roland. Just a nice little bit of backstory info there. Speaking of which, you can go up on this wall. There's really not much reason to do that, except... if you walk all the way to nearly the end, we have this guy here. Not really an essential conversation, but it's just kind of nice additional info, and you have to really go out of your way to see it, so I wanted to show that. Now, there are two things that I really wanted to do in the Garoon Gate, though. The first is to go in here, where we can buy food. We've already got the French fries, but we can get a new recipe here, vegetable sandwich. I might as well take a couple of these. And while I'm here, let's eat one just to get the recipe on camera. And here... you can rest here. It's not free, but it's still pretty cheap. Trust me, you want to be fully healed before heading into the Mistwald. So that's all we can do there. So here we go. Now you want to be careful because there are enemies that can easily ambush you on this narrow path that leads to the forest itself. Especially one right about here. Yeah, that... case in point, yeah. These Mars Sparrows love to ambush you. Especially when you're making your way out of the Mistwald. So the entrance is right there. Let me just check my ordnance. I kind of want information at the moment, but just to show the enemy's descriptions, but after that, I probably want to run and switch over to aerial, because I'm going to need aerial in here. Yeah, this place is terrifying this early in the game, but there are actually two reasons that you want to go here early. The first is for medical necessities, the second is for a chest, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Anyway, we're all gonna die. Also, the music here is amazing. I'm gonna say that about a lot of songs in this game, but really, that's true of almost everything. So, that right there. You want to make sure not to run in here, because letting these things get preemptive strikes on you is very, 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 very bad. These are killer hornets. They're incredibly fast, quite evasive towards physical attacks, very weak to fire though, but they can also poison you. Estelle currently has a poison immune accessory, so yeah. She's not at too much risk from them. But if they actually get to us, we can see what poison does. I'm gonna aim a soul blur at the other one. They can also move very far. Okay, yeah, if I do that, there's a chance that she'll miss, so I might as well just blow a little bit of EP to ensure that one of them dies. Yeah, it's getting its next go immediately after Joshua. That is how fast these things are. I don't entirely trust Aqua Bleed to finish it, so I'm just gonna go and heal. I don't want to lose this 200 CP after all. And Joshua is poisoned. So, in this game, poison only damages you after you take an action. I can demo that here. Yeah, Joshua just lost 38 HP. And the fact that these enemies give really impressive amounts of experience should tell you that you're not supposed to be here this early. And yeah, they drop savory pinions too. Now, the bees are not the worst thing in this forest. This is! These things look a lot like the puffer-type enemies from the Metroid series, but these are Forest Mist. Blows blows gas on enemies. I'm sorry, but that makes it sound like something from Tecmo Secret of the Stars. Yeah, I watched Marilyn play that game, and that was pretty funny. But anyway, yeah. Don't joke about their blown gas, though. It's actually really dangerous. It can inflict delay on you, meaning that they get more turns, and it can also put you to sleep. They also have a gas that can cancel your spell casting. So, yeah, forest mists, they're dangerous. You do not want to get stuck in a preemptive strike against them. Trust me, I made that fight look easy. It's really not. They're also another one of the few enemies in the prologue that drops Time Seepers, so they can be good to farm if you want more Cast 1 or Action 1 or the like. Uh-oh, you turned around. Yeah, see what happens if you let these things go first against you? I'm gonna switch over to Aerial right now. And I'm also gonna heal. Okay. Now, yeah, another thing that you've probably noticed by now, there's no map of this place. You can find maps of it online, but I generally know where I'm going for the most part. If you head to the right on this branch, you find one of 2 treasure chests in the Mistwald. This is not the chest that I'm particularly concerned with, though. Tear Bowl. Back for more, eh? Some people are never satisfied. If we continue on a little further, though, we can see, okay, there's a thing right there. Yeah, the road monster that we fought as a side quest earlier is now a regular enemy. I don't want to equip information against them, there's really no need. They work the exact same way as the Pine Plant in that fight. It can cast water art and it can explode. Yeah, I'm gonna actually... Yeah, a lot of things in here are weak to fire, I might as well equip that. They are actually counted as separate enemies for the purpose of the monster book, though. And I think they do have different stats. But fire still hits them pretty hard. And with that level up on Estelle, she learns Hurricane. I'll try and demo that in the next battle. But why I really came up here is this is a Bear Claw. Well, there's more than one place where you can find bear claws in this forest, but that's just one of the more convenient ones to get. You only need one, but I'm going to show the rest of the forest anyway, because there's one more chest I need to find here. I guess this is as good a time as any to demo, actually, hang on a second. Hurricane is better if you start further forward. Okay, now I'm going to try and demo Hurricane. So, Hurricane is a physical AoE attack. It's limited by Estelle's movement, but you can generally catch quite a few enemies in this. Hurricane has one major issue, however. It's really, really weak. Yeah, it does a lot less damage than a basic attack. I can kind of understand why they did it, but given that AoE magic is generally better than single target magic, it feels like a little bit of an imbalance to make the AoE, one of the few AoE physical attacks you have access to at this point, just way worse than regular attacks. Like, I could just show this just as an example. It doesn't miss. I thought she'd miss. Yeah, these things are pretty evasive. But, yeah. Hurricane's really only useful if you have a lot of heavily weakened enemies that are all grouped together, which is not an opportunity that happens often. Or it can be useful if you use a status ailment quartz. For example, if I put blind on Estelle, then every enemy caught in that AoE would have a 10% chance of being blinded. This can be useful, especially when we get some much more dangerous status quartz later on in the game, like Petrify. Petrify plus Hurricane is admittedly pretty fun. And yeah, by the way, Rhinociders are ordinary enemies now, and for some reason that was not a preemptive. I'm gonna run and see if I can get a preemptive. Ah! The stealthy rhino, I didn't quite see you there. So there's really not much up here, except another one of these rhinos, another bear claw, if you can just... You can probably see that out of the corner of your eye. So these Rhinociders, unlike the one on the road, are actually 200% weak to fire and water. They're actually counted as a separate enemy type from the earlier Rhinocider, just like the Pine Plant. They're also a lot weaker in terms of HP and defensive ability. They still hit you very hard though. You really don't want to get stuck in a preemptive strike against 3 Rhinociders. Trust me, that may have happened in the earlier take and it did not end well. But yeah, we get a Bear Claw. Again, you only need 1 of those, but I'm going to try and find all of the ones in the forest I can. I don't like these things at all. I don't like these things at all. There was a Rhinocider in that fight too. Anyway, if we head straight up from here, we can run into an enemy that was hidden by the trees. Thankfully, they're all casting, which is going to give me time to run away. Yeah, the problem with enemies like pine plants is, since they don't really have a head, it's very hard to tell what direction hitting them from counts as a preemptive attack. But yeah, if we go up here, we have this big tree. There's really no point to this tree in the entire first game, but it's kind of nice to see. I just wanted to at least show it. The area that we actually want to go to here, though, is to the right, and it's a little bit tricky to discover this little area. It's like a small passage. I wonder if I can catch these in an aerial. Yeah, they're all going to go for art, so I don't need to worry too much about them getting all these turns. I may have to use my CP here. Oh yeah, and because Joshua's now first, means that I have to press the 1 button on the keyboard or the up on the right analog stick, which to use his S break. That's why usually when I play this game, I always leave Estelle in the head of the party, just so that it gets less confusing what button to press to use S breaks. And why not? Let's oh, actually not steal a critical turn. Okay then. Well, there's an enemy critical for you. Okay, that's not good. But at least I have healing items. As you can see here, I'm looking a little worse for wear already, and I just got fully healed in this place. You don't want to take the Mistwald lightly. It's extremely dangerous. It is a pretty good place to get some levels, though. Yeah, speaking of extremely dangerous, I'm going to use some tear bombs now. Because it's very easy to accidentally end up in preemptive strikes on your way to the right-hand side here. Okay, another Bear Claw. Bear Claws are a cooking ingredient, so it might be worth your while to grab a few of them while you can. Oh, those forest mists are extremely bad. Remember when I said you don't want to get in a preemptive strike with 3 Rhinociders? This is why.
Not now.
Like I said, the Mistwald is brutal. Don't underestimate it. Okay, so through here is the place I really wanted to go, but we are going to have to dodge some enemies. Let's use one of those. Just going to make sure I'm fully healed. Just in case. Ah, hi there. Slip past you. So there's a little bit of a clearing in the forest here. But what we're really after here, hi Rhinocider, is this Bear Claw. Actually, no, not this Bear Claw. It's actually something else. Let's just slip past you. Let's slip past you. Over here, right here. This chest. Hide jumpsuit. This chest is oh so very empty. So, I'm going to equip the hide jumpsuit now. It's only slightly better than the armor vest, but I'm going to give it to Joshua just because he's a little bit more fragile defensively. So, I'm going to just talk about this chest for a moment. This chest is the reason why you want to go to the Mistwald early. Remember how I said that you are forced to come here for the plot later? Well, during that visit, you can't get this chest for some reason. Not only that, but once the plot event occurs in the Mistwald, this chest disappears from the game forever, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know if they've patched it in a later version or not, but from what I've heard, if you don't get this chest before the end of the prologue, you have lost your chance to get it forever. And not only does that mean you can't get the all chest trophy, but this is the one and only high jumpsuit in the entire game, which means you also miss the all armor trophy. So yeah, come here early and get that chest. It is incredibly important. I'm pretty sure that on my first playthrough, the high jumpsuit was the one piece of armor I missed for the all armor trophy. So yeah, right now I'm just gonna get the heck out of here. Though I might, well, I mean, there's always the chance that I might get jumped on the way out and end up demonstrating it here, but in case I don't, I do have some footage from that attempt where I lost the commentary that shows just how dangerous forest mists are, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show that when I get to the end of the forest, if nothing bad happens by then. Okay, almost there, almost there. Okay, here we go, and we're out. I'll be showing that footage now. So yeah, that is why forest mists are a pain. Speaking of a pain, if you're heavily weakened from exiting the Mistwald, there's a Mars Sparrow right here that just loves to ambush you on your way out of the forest. Believe me, that may have happened to me in an earlier playthrough of this game. No, I'm not gonna miss that. Since I have actually recorded parts 7 and 8 already by now, I will say that I do show what Mars Star looks like in later footage. So yeah, that is the bear claw gathered, that chest grabbed. We've done everything we need to do right now in the Mistwald. Thank Adios. Yeah, this is also why running here is kind of bad, but at least red insectosses aren't a threat anymore. Due to the, again, rubber band experience scaling, as I like to call it, it actually doesn't take that long for enemy times to stop being threats, so in the not too distant future, the enemies in the Mistwald won't be such a big deal. For now, though, they really, really are, so let's run back to town. Okay, so in order to actually complete the Medical Necessities quest, we have to go and give those items to Father Divine over at the Roland Chapel. When is she not in a cheerful mood? I applaud her for keeping a cheerful mood after we got through that place. So we hand over one of each of those. Yeah, if you had any idea what we had to go through to get those, well, one of them at least. Yeah, I'm surprised too. Yeah, we were. Joshua got smashed in the face by 3 rhinoceroses, but other than that, we're totally fine. I love how I sell lampshades that, yeah, this quest is pretty tough at this point in the game. And run. Now, go, get out of here now. Yes, let's use that work excuse. Even though we've actually completed all the side quests that we can at this point, but we're not telling him that. Well, we still have one job from Dad after all. And phew, that quest is finally done. But before we end this part off, let's go to Melda's Orbital Factory and get that quartz that we need for Hellgate. Either EP1 or EP Cart 1 work, but EP Cart 1 will have more payoff later down the road, so it's the one that I definitely want to grab now. Because yes, if we go to Orbments, switching to Blind, and then EP Cart 1 will give us Hellgate. Also Anti-Sept, which is going to be useful towards the end of the prologue, but not quite now. So, with all that done, next time we're going to report those quests, as well as report Mayor Klaus's request, and get ourselves the third and final job Cassius left us. So, I will see you all then.